See, I know this man. I know this man from somewhere. I think I've seen him on TikTok. Yeah, we'll jump in. We'll jump in. White girl Islam. White liberal women need to be stopped. The worst is always white liberal women, isn't it? By is it Tinashe Peter? Is that how you pronounce it? I think, I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I've seen this. I've seen this guy somewhere before. And usually he brings up great points, so we'll see. Interesting.
Now, I have encountered some dim-witted, smooth-brained activity in my day. And if y'all have joined me on this journey thus far, y'all know that sometimes, most cases, we come across some of the most unhinged and mentally unwell individuals.
Well, my friend, we have seen it. We have seen it in the last couple of weeks after a certain incident. We have seen how deranged. And funnily enough, it's mostly women. Weird.
Those who have been utterly consumed by whether it's, the wokety woke ideology, the neo-Marxists of the world, or all the way on the other side to the...
We were so... See? We are so stupid, right? We are genuinely so damn stupid that we gave most of the media over to heckin' Marxists. Games, movies, TV shows, all that stuff. I find that very interesting, and that's because for the longest time, so the reason why we have this circumstance with like woke media is because the right or conservatives or whatever you want to call them refuse to engage with it, and now since that's happening more and more, things are starting to turn around a little bit.
Neo-schmatzy schmucks that continue to make an absolute fool of themselves in real time. But this right here, what we're about to get into today, this has a special place in the world of stupidity. So I'm just going to go ahead and let this play out for y'all.
Oh, I need to move to the other side. I need to move. Yoink. I'm the on the lower half. I'm half a man. I'm Gojo. But yeah, I need to move over there. We don't want to block the cringe.
There's very little I can say. I believe
Is this an old lady? Is this an old lady wearing a hijab? We are cooked.
It will all speak for itself. So let's get into it.
When I started reading the Quran, which was right after October 7th, I knew.
Weird. Weird. What? Weird. Odd date. Odd date.
Really fast that I was Muslim.
That's an odd. I'm gonna be real. That's an odd date. That is an odd date to be a
If that was it, that would be enough. That would be enough to put it in my top 3, and it wouldn't be number 3 as far as the most unhinged things that I've heard coming from a specific group of individuals, i.e. white liberal women. But there's more.
And I almost didn't want to admit it because I knew what a change I would have to undertake in my life. I would have to, really reorient my entire existence. But I knew almost right away that I was Muslim. And it was like coming home, and all the clues that that Allah had given me over the years were meant to lead me to Islam.
How do you... This is like... See, the only reason it is... She believes that in that stuff now is because she is essentially what I would call a lukewarm Muslim now. What are we doing? These ladies are usually the same story. They like some Muslim man who is out of their league? Well, for now, that doesn't seem to be the case. Just a religion of false hopes and false promises, true and real. They then convert to be with him. Yeah, that's what I've seen, though. That's usually not older ladies. That is usually, I don't know, I can't tell how old she is, right? Like 40, 50 maybe? But, it's just odd. It's just odd. It's the only religion that freaks out when people start fact-checking. Also true. Also true. I don't know if you've heard it, but a Christian was stabbed in France, I think, for criticizing Islam, and the responses of people on TikTok specifically was, why was he criticizing it? Like, it's some sort of justification. It's really weird. Hi UMW, how are you doing? Hope you're doing good. She saw Muslims ruthlessly attacking Israeli people when gotta get me some of that or that. I'm from India, and here they target uneducated people and convert them. Crazy work.
It's like when you're circling the same street for years and years, and you realize your name has been on the door all along.
That street I would call Asylum Street. And it did have your name on the door. But you must have missed the door with your damn name on it. Now, you know, on this channel, I've done the best possible.
I know how fried I can. I'm just my brain is just equally as fried. She said a whole lot of nothing. She has said a whole lot of nothing. She said a whole lot of nothing. She just said a whole lot of nothing. What are we reacting to? Weird women. That's the easiest way to put it. Weird women.
Job I can to, I guess, unravel the ideology that is Islam and the true danger that it is to Western culture, Western civilization, and the ideologies that we hold. Right, starting with, you know, obviously our Judeo-Christian foundation, and then on top of that, principles such as freedom, liberty, you know, those old things. Yeah, Islam is now making its way into the Western world. And when we oftentimes think about Islam, it's easy to have this image of, you know, Semitic-looking people or Arab individuals, brown-skinned persons. You know, most people don't even think about African Muslims, which are make up for millions upon millions of the Muslims on this planet currently. But the last thing you probably think about is old Suzanne Carrier. We're just gonna call her old Susie today. The last person you think about is that lady right there. Now, the reason I say that is not because, you know, any sort of ideology discriminates, even though this ideology literally discriminates. It is the definition of intolerant. But anyway, we'll get to that. The reason why I am flabbergasted.
You need to realize this. This religion is so intolerant that it will wipe out differences within the religion. That's how intolerant it is. In some regions, if you don't exactly believe what other Muslims believe, your life's in jeopardy. You are in danger. You are in grave danger. That is the thing. That is most certainly a thing.
It is because here is a woman who I am in the 99th percentile of confidence that this is a quote unquote feminist, right? She is giving the absolute aura of the whacked out liberal, the wokety woke leftist, the so-called progressive. Here we have a liberal, feminist-minded entity who on October 7th.
Those are, by the way, oxymorons. You cannot be Muslim. You cannot be Muslim and feminist. Those two ideologies cancel each other completely out. Because if there's one thing Islam isn't, it's pro-woman. 100%. Under Islam, You, as a woman, you are just a housewife and a baby factory. That's it. You are nothing more. Remember that.
The largest massacre, or dare I say, genocide or act of genocide outside of
I think he might bring up Nigeria. Could be wrong.
the Holocaust.
Nigeria is also one of those that people don't want to call it that, right? But it's not that far away. It's really not far away. The only reason people are not calling what's happening in Nigeria a genocide is because it's happening to Christians. That's pretty much it.
Her takeaway from that is to not only open up the Quran, the doctrine that was behind this attack, but was to now claim the Quran. See, these people are run by a deep-seated resentment for what they actually are, whether it is whiteness or just even their Western upbringing, their Western temperaments, the world around them that has made it possible for them to get to this level of insanity is the world they hate most. And it's for a host of different reasons. You can just watch a quick episode of Dr. Phil and you'll see just how far some folks can go.
Yeah, it's essentially you were raised to hate yourself. So you do anything so that you can reject yourself and live differently. That's what it is. Converting to Islam as a woman is an act of self-harm. To be fair, feminism isn't compatible with most things when generalizing. True.
In order to, satisfy that internal conflict they have taking place. So here is a Western woman, American woman, who sees the atrocities of October 7th and thinks to herself, you know what I should do? I should get a better understanding of these monsters. Now, of course, she didn't say that. She was just, essentially, wow, look at these revolutionaries. Look at these resistors. They're resisting white supremacy, right? Because everything is through the lens of white supremacy to these people, right? To heck with the fact that many of the Jewish population or those who live in Israel, so Israelis, are closer to brown than white, right? To hell with that. They're still white supremacists because we said so. And so she latches on to an ideology that quite literally looks to take away all her rights. Now, I don't know if y'all have been, up to speed on the, I guess it's been a epidemic of sorts. TDS has taken over.
TDS? Trump derangement syndrome, I think. There's a lot of self-hate with some white and black Westerners. Yeah. Though the positions they come from is very different. One side is essentially victimizing itself the entire time, and the other one is acting like the oppressor for like everything, when that's... Both of those are not correct.
At least 30 to 40% of American minds, many of which are at a place of no return. TDS standing for Trump derangement syndrome. And so in that Trump derangement syndrome, they have this delusion that sort of kicks in, this sort of psychotic episode where all of their rights have been taken away, more specifically women. It's like they live in the Handmaid's Tale. All rights gone. I know, of course, that's not reality, but that's what's going on in this sort of break from reality that they're currently experiencing. And so, here we have women who have been crying out that they're having their rights as women, women's reproductive rights and all this sort of stuff are being stripped away from them. You have those people.
Abortion is not a reproductive right. I don't consider it a reproductive right. There are no reproductive rights. Men also don't have reproductive right. You have one right and one right only. You have one right and one right only. You use protection, or you keep your legs closed, or your dick in your pants. That is the only reproductive right you technically have. That's it. That's it. Or to put it in Kirk's words, take responsibility for your orgasms.
People now latching onto an ideology that literally looks to strip their rights away. You know what I mean? You catch one? Okay. So, you know,
see, Trump didn't even like ban abortion, right? He just handed what happens to the state, right? And now the people technically can vote on it what they want. Well, how democracy is essentially. That's what you want. Right? You want the people to decide how things are going to turn out. It's your dream place to go to. Mine is heaven. Heaven is pretty peak, I agree. I've never thought about that. Probably heaven too. They throw trash around and harass a lot of girls in my country. Oh, they do that here too. They do that here too. They're also blatantly racist here too. Straight up. They do that here as well.
We see that, and it seems that, well, maybe this is a woman who has found joy in her faith. Perhaps this was always the door that had her name on it. And, well, turns out that not all things are as they seem. Now, are they? So I want to go ahead and present this second video. I've watched it maybe into the first couple of seconds, as I oftentimes do, simply because I want to have a real life experience with you. So let's go ahead and get into it.
Oh, Assalamu alaikum. I don't even know how to start this video, like, and it's not even that deep. But I just wanted to be completely open and honest on here, because if there's...
Now, give me your honest, no filter response. As soon as you heard
Assalamu alaikum,
that right there coming from this young...
That is indoctrination, final boss. That is indoctrination, final boss. This is the final boss of indoctrination. Just the final boss. It just is. There's just no way. This feels like you're LARPing. What is this? If you go to Bangladesh, it's worse. They do weird things to female gods of Hindus. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Again, I'm not surprised. I wonder why all Muslims are white. Like, have you seen a black Muslim? I haven't. Oh, there's definitely black Muslims. 100%. There's definitely black Muslims. Right. That is definitely a thing. I've seen a few online. I've seen a few IRL. They do exist.
Lady with that accent, what did you think to yourself? What's the first thing that popped up in your head? Go ahead and let it be known.
Wasn't Muhammad Ali a Muslim, if I remember correctly? So that's one.
I don't even know how to start this video, like, and it's not even that deep. But I just wanted to be completely open and honest on here, because if there's anyone else struggling or going through something similar, like, I don't think people understand how hard it is, like, for reverts sometimes, especially reverts that have come from a completely different life before. Like, I've come from a completely different life, and that life did not serve me in any way whatsoever. But sometimes it's really hard to think back to when, oh, I had loads of friends, or when I was going out all the time, and, you know, when I was doing this, and I was outgoing, and it's like, I'm still myself. Like, I'm still myself. But I'm just, like, the better version of myself, and alhamdulillah.
This is kind of hard to watch.
Oh no, you're unhappy. Who would have guessed that you're unhappy? Who would have expected that? Who could have guessed? We Hindus don't even force our religion on others, yet they disrespecting forcing their religion on us. That's why I'm gonna say this. If this behavior occurs, there is no way you can take a moral high ground, because if you don't fight back, they're gonna overtake you. That's the problem. There's with people that despise you, there's no coexistence with people that would want you dead. Which, if you're an elite Muslim, is the case. I mean, even the UAE, I think it was some minister, some politician said that you're gonna find out the hard way And we are right now in the in like many countries. We are at the point of you're gonna find out the hard way.
Huh, okay. Sis, our dearly beloved sister, you are in what we call a cult. You're in a cult. You're crying out for help. You're looking to reaffirm and reestablish your belief system to satiate your cognitive dissonance because you're in a cult.
If you join a religion or any group and you can't leave it, otherwise you are threatened by violence, you are in a cult. You are in a cult. You are in a cult, straight up. Give them place to live even though they don't belong here, and the power to claim any land. Yeah, that's unfortunately how it is. That is unfortunately how it is. And even like the people are finding out now, wait, we gave you everything and this is how you treat us?
I'm so grateful Allah chose me to become Muslim, but it's hard. Like, it's really hard sometimes when you have loads of people saying, oh, but what about this, or you do this, or oh, but you can't go here, or you can't drink this, or you can't eat that. Like, have it from so many different angles. It's really hard, but I just wanted to say to anyone and to any other revert struggling or losing faith, like, never lose faith and never lose trust in Allah, because I was really struggling yesterday.
Lose faith in Allah. Lose faith in that cult. Free yourself. Do you hear me? I know there are folks out there who listen to me and watch me say these things, and they are in a state of disarray emotionally, mentally. Some even hate me for saying it, but there's something in you right now. There's something in you that is yearning to be free. And I wish to reach those people as much as anybody else who resonates, already with this message, those who align with this. And, I'm a voice for. As much as them folks, there are some of y'all out there like this young lady here who are broken inside. You were likely taken advantage of. You were likely targeted because essentially you were looking for something. You were looking for meaning, significance. You're looking for community. I understand. I get it. And I'm sorry that whatever it is that led you to this point.
Yeah, people, I think that's also because, like, yeah, I think he hits it actually. He hits the nail on the head. It is slightly community. It is likely purpose. It is likely to find something to believe in. You just found the wrong thing.
Happened. But this is not the way. This ideology is going to reinforce the shame. It's going to reinforce the feelings of inadequacy. It's going to reinforce your nothingness, especially as a woman. I said this to my lady the other day. I said, I understand how, men could absolutely love the sound of this ideology. Who wouldn't want to be the guy, right? You get to have the multiple wives. You get to treat them, really however you want. I mean, you are not just the prize. You're not just the table. You're the kitchen cabinet, the sink, the damn flooring, the tiles. You're everything. You get everything. You are treated as gold. But as a woman?
As a woman, there is a lot of problems. As a woman, you're essentially nothing. And, if I remember that correctly, you essentially get, if you go to heaven in Islam, you essentially get an eternal erection and infinite virgins, which is hella weird. Well, not infinite virgins, but the women that you get are forever virgins. It is so weird. It is so weird. It's not meant to hurt you that much to convert to a religion. Never once while exploring Christianity and trying to live with its values I've sobbed like that. If it's that hard, it's not right. True. But only being the guy. I heard from Muslim mouth, men are like celebrities while women are should keep calm and shut their mouth. I also know that basically the testament of a woman is half of that of a man. Like, so in court, if like something happens, technically they will believe you more than the woman, even if you are the evil guy. Your vote, so to speak, your word counts more.
What are you getting out of this? As a woman who has experienced freedom on the other side, you know, and that's why there's an aspect of me that says, when you get to a place where things are so good and so comfortable and so cozy and cushy, perhaps this is just one of the trajectories that we tend to go as humans. When you have had it so easy, as the old saying goes, strong men make good times make weak men make bad times make good or strong men, right? There's that cyclical nature of things. And I don't know that to be an absolute truth, but it sounds about right to me. I mean, it's the only way that I can quantify what I'm seeing. Why would you take such good times and want to obliterate them, to destroy them completely in this way? What our forefathers and ancestors fought to just experience.
I tell you why. This is all from one result and one result only. This comes all from one place and one place only. Cheap labor. This all originates from cheap labor. This all comes from cheap labor. We import these people because it's cheap labor. Because realistically, the truth is that somebody who, for example, I'm take Germany now for example. Somebody who was born and raised in Germany will ask for more pay than somebody who comes from a third world country where pay is not guaranteed. One will be happy with minimum wage. The other one will not be okay with minimum wage. So it's easier to just get new people in that you can pay less. And that in its core results in switching out the population. If you know what a slight word was against common man word in the past, something like that. Okay, less than half, yeah, something like that. One thing that always turned me away from Islam is that women literally can't pray on their periods because they're dirty, or that God gave her means that she can't talk to him. You know what's crazy? From basically from the Vatican, right? They straight up just say there that Muslims and Christians are praying to the same God. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, I understand more and more about people are leaving the church. It makes sense. It is so weird.
Experience, just a sliver of, is now being thrown away and discarded for, you know, a damn ideology of the desert dweller of 1,500 years ago.
Just with thoughts consuming me. And I thought, like, am I even good enough to be Muslim? Like, am I even good enough?
I told you, shame. That's a shame loop right there.
SubhanAllah, like, one of my duas that I made, and I made like an impossible dua. Like, I thought it was impossible, and it got answered yesterday. And SubhanAllah, I'm definitely trusting Allah. And please just like take it easy on reverts, because you almost have to grieve an old life, like, or you have to grieve a version of yourself, even though it was like a really bad version. And like the life or who you were wasn't serving you in any way, you still have to grieve that, and it takes time, and it can be lonely, and it can be hard, but Allah is the greatest of planners, and you just have to keep trusting Allah. SubhanAllah. Yeah.
You need to trust your instinct in this moment, sis.
Your gut is literally telling you. Your gut is literally telling you this is wrong, and you're not listening. For once, you gotta listen to your gut feeling. You gotta listen to the voice in your head telling you, nah, what are you doing? The main root between Christianity and Islam is different. Nothing in common. See, there's like a contradiction, right? They say God's word is incorruptible when it comes to the Quran. But they also say that the Bible is made by God. But they also say that the Bible is corrupted. But the word of God is incorruptible. So what are we doing here? Like, there is like lots of logical inconsistencies that don't make sense. I'm praying to God. They're praying to a prophet who made up a religion to excuse the sexism and interest in kids. True, also. To a degree. And also, obviously, justifying war. In Christianity, you learn from Jesus how to spend your life in a better way on the world. In Islam, Islam translates to submit, because it's submission to Allah. They learn to serve their religion. Anything fair game if it's for their religion. Poke apostate prophet kinda debunked the Quran already. There's plenty of things. They also say there's no lies in the Quran, right? They say that. And like, I have a video, like just like a short TikTok video of like multiple lies inside that book.
Run. 2 things to avoid in this very moment. Number 1 is Islam. Number 2 are the lip fillers. Ladies, yeah. It's unnecessary. It is. I mean, you don't want this for yourself. You don't want that. But number 1 is still going to be Islam on that list. Now, you know, again, as entertaining as some of this can be, especially with the first video there,
I really don't think that's really entertaining. I think it's more so depressing and sad that this is happening. It's really depressing. I don't particularly, right? It's not super entertaining. It's more like, how did we get here? How did we get here? How did we reach that point?
It is real. Actually, I have a woman that I recently interviewed. Her name is Sophia. And, you know, she was indoctrinated into this. So she wasn't born into Islam, but she was indoctrinated. She was brainwashed, conditioned, whatever terminology you may want to use. And she found her way out. And so that interview hopefully will be out sooner than later, right? This is happening. And by the way, she's American, or she lives in America. This is happening right now in real time. And, you know, oftentimes we look at things as far as them being fringe. Well, I mean, it's something that's just happening in that little corner of the world or whatever. And to the folks out there who live, you know, anywhere in Europe, whether it's in the European Union or outside of that, UK, etc., you've seen it probably in your own life, if not you're 1 degree of separation away from this.
I've seen here it is way more common than it is in the US, right? Here that is way more common. It is so odd when you see just like a German girl running around with a hijab. It's like, how do you get to that point? The only way that you got to that point is because your boyfriend is Muslim. And I'm like, I'm shaking my head. I'm just shaking my head. The Quran literally says lying is okay if it makes Islam look better. Oh, I've heard that one before, yeah. Nothing they say is credible at all. True and real. The UK is terrifying right now. Yep. Apparently also they're now introducing digital ID for all citizens under the guise of, well, we don't want illegal immigration. Or do you just want to make it easy to find illegal immigration so you don't have immigrants, so you don't have to kick them out? It is so weird. The question that question Poga, that was exactly, we got to this point. It wasn't a happy topic, so we ignored it all the way to this point. True.
It's right outside your door at this point. It's real. It's here. You know, it's easier to think, again, it's something that happens over there to those people and that will never make its way into our household. Guess what? This is somebody's daughter here. That's somebody's daughter. The woman before, somebody's mother, maybe somebody's wife, somebody's sister, that can easily fall into this as easily as they could fall into any other.
How do I put this? There's no nice way to put it, so I'm just gonna quote Kirsche. I'm just gonna quote Kirsche. Women are useful idiots. As hard as it sounds. I'm just gonna say it, and that's mostly due to appeal of emotion. The appeal of emotion is my thing, but the Korsha quote is the Korsha quote. Bought a magazine about the gunpowder plot yesterday, and I can't help but think we need to try that again. Crazy work. They want to introduce them, but the vote will never pass. Never say never. Also, I think the petition had like 3 million, and they still said, anyways, we're gonna introduce it.
Destructive ideology. And this has nothing to do with freedom of practicing religion, etc. You know, that's what actually used to keep me quiet predominantly, because I thought, well, you know, everybody must have the right to practice what they want. And I still believe that. But when you notice that there is, you know, a specific idea that's making its way into people's lives, and this idea is corrupting them from the inside out, it is turning them into dangerous, manipulative, intolerant individuals. And I hate to even use that word. Maybe there's something stronger or more.
Freedom of expression stops. Freedom of expression stops the moment it becomes a danger to innocent people. And Islam and Muslims that don't practice it lukewarm. There's many lukewarm Muslims. There's also many lukewarm Muslims, if you want to call them that, right? They do the things they say are haram, right? They do right? Straight up. There's many more, but they uphold their religion like it's the best ever, but they cannot really follow it, right? They drink, they smoke, they do other weird shit, right? But it being practiced the way it is, for example, in Afghanistan, in Syria, yeah, I think we have a problem there.
Directed, but I'm pretty sure you catch what I'm throwing there. When you start to see that, in the same way I noticed with, you know, this Marxist, neo-Marxist ideology that has consumed those who consider themselves as leftists or progressives, right? The same danger and threat I saw there, it just opened my eyes to what is Islam actually. And the deeper I got into it, the more I realized, oh, this is...
I forgot what it was. There was a famous man around the Cold War that warned us against Marxism. I forgot who it was. I also forgot the quote. But yeah, that might be a byproduct of that, in fact, actually, what's happening right now. And the crazy part is that even, like, I'm pretty sure that most old leftists, I think most leftists during, like, the 70s, 80s, probably even 90s would reject what's going on today. Because it's quite far away from what's actually, like, have you ever seen, for example, like, right, Democrat versus Republican? Have you seen, like old, like, interviews with, like between, like, presidential candidates, and, like, them being, like, really respectful, and, like, what's the word? Being really respectful, being able to admit when you agree, being able to, like, they're straight up some saying, we believe both that essentially, like, we believe both that what we're doing is for the good for America. It's just that our methods are different. It's like really interesting to look at that. Left them alone and gave them fair benefit of the doubt, because I know there are good Muslims among them, so I didn't want to judge by a few hotheads, but my eyes were open. It's not the case like every other group. Islam more violent, more primitive, and unhumane in so many aspects. That is true. And the funny part is that the people supporting this would be thrown off of rooftops on the Islamic rule. Is it the Reagan quote you're on about? Yeah, could be. There's like plenty of them. And the good in Islam are prisoners since they can't fight to change it, so I don't spare them too. Crazy work. Society that can't fix its crime behavior should take accountability. I don't even believe they heard accountability in their life. No, they don't.
The very same ideology that leads to people taking the lives of the innocent every single day across the planet, those who will not submit to this ideology. And so when we see it played out in this soft sort of serve way, We think to ourselves, surely it could never be that. Those are just those people in Mozambique. You're sure those Christians are being beheaded. They're sure. And then all of a sudden you have a situation like what happened in Minneapolis just a week ago, where a kid who has been radicalized not just by the neo-Marxist, framework, the woke framework, but they have also found themselves in this pro-Palestine. I mean, they wrote mashallah on the damn magazine of that weapon that they had. Mashallah.
And you need to realize this starts from like a young age. This like starts from like really young kids and then the media that they consume. This starts there. This indoctrination starts there. And now all of a sudden people like realize, oh, what Netflix is doing is indoctrinating our children. Bro, they've been doing that for 10 years. A lot of the clips of shows that I've seen, those are not just like recent. Those are like 10 years back. Those are like 10 years back. You're way too late. Like, I see Elon Musk be like complaining about like clips from shows, and I'm like, bro, this is 10 years back. You should have reacted to that 10 years back. Not now. Now it's too late. Crazy work.
We don't deal with it here. We don't nip it in the bud. If we don't take care of it now, you wake up and that's your reality. That's your world now. And I'm not saying that to create any sort of fear, but I am saying it because I feel compelled to do so. I feel that right now we have the absolute best possible chance to not allow this mentality in. And this doesn't mean to, to segregate or to have these people feel like they're lesser than human or whatever it is. Again, these are still our mothers, our daughters, our brothers, our sisters, our fathers. These are still people that we love and we care about. These are still our fellow human beings. But for them to be consumed by evil, as long as we can help it and do something about it, I believe we should. And that all begins with this here, the conversation, the understanding, the willingness to speak.
Well, yeah, you need to be very much human. Otherwise, you will never convince them otherwise. And if they don't treat you like human, then out, gone. No, there's no place for you in this world.
So we will not be martial lawing over here. We won't be martial lawing or martial lawing. Like, no, we won't be doing that. As far as me and
well, they will be martial lying at best.
mine, we will serve a Lord of freedom and peace and clarity, who gives a sound mind and not fear. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Now, if you'd like to stay around, make sure to click that little subscribe button down there, or you can show some love by going to the description below and clicking on the button titled.
That's pretty much the end of the video. What can we say? Essentially, if they become too many and the ideology is too radical, they're just gonna conquer your country. They're just gonna conquer your country and just straight up kick you out. They're just gonna force you into it. Because when they're gonna be enough so that you have no other choice. You're not gonna live peacefully. As if you're not Muslim, you're not gonna live peacefully under Muslim rule. That's just not gonna happen. That's just not going to happen. That is pretty much all I can say. Anyways, like, comment, and subscribe.